Everyone. Once the little light starts blinking, hopefully we'll be rocking and rolling here. All right, we are live on YouTube. There it is. Okay, so it is Monday. All right, stand by, everyone. Of course, I'm hearing the redundant my playback on YouTube, so let me turn that off. Okay, now we're ready to go live. Hey, welcome everyone. It's Monday, May the 18th, and I am Joel. Welcome to today's daily briefing. This is actually our final week of the daily briefing because we're going to be shifting to some other format, perhaps a weekly briefing. So stay tuned about that. But first of all, I just want to say I'm Joel at RevThink. I'm joined here by my good friend Tim. So say hello, Tim, and then I'd love to introduce our guests after you say hello and tell everyone who we are and why we do this.
That's right. It's good to be with you this week as we're in this new transition of converting you guys into a new thought and format. We actually want to kind of rev-think this opportunity a little bit with you all and position you for the future, which we know is coming up. So not just reacting and responding, but really put ourselves out there and creating some new material and new thoughts for you. Because as Joel said, we exist so that you can thrive in business, life, and career. And two people that know that very well, Tiago and Marco, are joining us today. It's so good to see you guys' faces at this time.
Yeah, say hello first, Tiago. Tell us, say hi, and tell us who you are and what you do for a living.
Hello, guys. I'm Tiago. I'm a Brazilian living in London. I'm the creative director and founder of Cook Studio. I think that's it.
That's it. That's all. You understand your awesomeness. No, that's great. Thanks for saying hello. And then Marco, please say hello and tell everyone what you do here.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm about to find out what I'm doing here, but I'm Marco. I'm from Germany, and I do coaching and consulting for creative studios. And I used to work a lot with Joel and Tim. And yeah, I'm happy to share the perspective from some of my German clients on the crisis and how they manage. Yeah, how they manage the situation, I guess.
Well, it's great to have both you guys. For anyone new here, the daily briefing was a conversation that Tim and I started shortly after the pandemic hit. We said, we've got to get together and get owners, of studios and agencies and production companies together, if only for therapy, to process what's going on. And it's been a over 2 month journey now of getting together every day for half an hour and having a brief conversation, asking each other questions and sharing ideas and so forth. So let's just first start off by Tiago. You were just starting to answer the question when Marco asked you before we got started. How are you doing? How's it going? Can you give us your sense of what's it like in the UK? What's it been over the past 2 months, and what's it like today?
Yeah, I think changed quite a lot in the past 2 months. I think probably changed for a lot of people. I've been talking to a lot of other studio owners as well. For us, and a lot of people I heard as well, basically on the beginning, we had this quite crazy request of jobs. I think all agencies and clients just panic. And as no one could do live action, people just went straight, we need to do animation. But without understand what involves to do animation, was quite hard to get clients to commit and put the money down as well, because no one knew what is going to happen on the next 2, 3, 4, 6 months, ahead. That pass, we had a little bit of quiet moment for about a month, I would say, some small jobs kicking on, but nothing really major happening in the industry. I think in the last 2 weeks, we've been seeing that changing quite complete. I think clients has a little bit more planning in place now. I think we're still getting quite a lot of requests now. The last 2 weeks been really busy for us, even the studio here, and even not adding the subject, but the studio in Brazil as well. And we're seeing a lot more clients up to commit, to putting the money down and go ahead with projects. So I saw a lot of big change for us, and it's quite comfortable to say, the industry is picking up, but it's picking up in a good way for animation industry as well.
Right. Well, one thing I appreciate about you is you are definitely a community builder and someone who fosters conversation because through See No Evil and other things that you do, you definitely bring freelancers and studio owners together to have conversations. So I appreciate you have a perspective that goes beyond just Cookie Studio. But let me give Marco a chance to chime in. Marco, you're based obviously outside of Munich, so you are very much in touch with the German market. I'm curious to hear your perspective on that, and perhaps beyond Germany, if you have any thoughts, you can share with us what you're hearing from some of your neighbors near you in Germany.
So, well, I mean, there was a lot of uncertainty in the beginning, and similar to Thiago, the last couple of weeks it just started to pick up again. Like there came more and more requests for proposals. No one was ready to put some money on the table yet, but well, my client sense that they will get more business, new business by starting of next week, I guess, something like that. So they have a really positive mindset at the moment. Everyone is just waiting to get back to work and start working again. And actually, today was the day when the beer gardens opened again. So it's quite a big sign in Germany.
And what about the German? I was going to ask, what about the German stimulus efforts? What have they been doing to help some of the shops with cash or other incentives?
Yeah, that's probably a big reason why we have such a positive mindset at the moment compared to other countries. German government, what was it like? Everyone, like freelancers and small businesses, they could apply for a grant of 9K, which they don't have to pay back. And like if you're a big company and you have a lot of employees, there's something like, it's called like short-term workage, something like that. And the government is paying, so every employee just gets 70% of their how do you say this, of their monthly pay,
of their
salary,
growth, the salaries, right? the payroll, yeah.
Or salary, yeah.
Salary, but actually the government pays for it, so, or most of it. So it's a pretty good thing actually for the company. So they save a lot of money if they don't have the jobs coming in. So I guess overall the state is pretty good to us. He's taking care. I don't think we can manage that situation for much longer, but for now we are pretty stable.
And Thiago, I know the UK has some stimulus money that came to you guys as well. Tell me this, like, once you had that stimulus money, what did that kind of represent to you in the idea of timing, how long it kind of gives you in a chance, and the type of change you might have to make within your business to take advantage of the new economy?
Yeah, we had two situations here. The government came with the first plan with the loan to help small to big business. You can get up to 5 million of a loan. So depend of the size of your business. The last 2 weeks, they came with a new plan for small business as well. That one you can borrow until 50 grand or 25%, or I think it's 25% of your revenue. So it's quite good for small business. So it's helping people. The problem what happened is taking so long, for the banks to be able to manage to get the money to the people, to the companies. What the banks is being saying is just it's too many people applying. We also has freelance and the government's helping us as a company. We have a scene where we can stand you fire, your employees. You can just put them, and the government pay 80% of the salary, and the company can pay the 20% or decide not to pay, but they shouldn't be working for you. So you just put that aside. So instead you fire them. So it's helping the situation. The problem is taking so long for the loans. The good thing is the main problem is we don't know how long it's going to take this situation.
Sure.
We're talking, UK is talking maybe start getting school back, a little bit from 1st of June. but we're talking about school until everything get back to normal. We're talking about probably 3, 4, 5, 6 months, you know?
Yeah.
It can takes a really long time.
Yeah. So
it's quite hard.
Yeah, from the both of you guys' perspective, it sounds like there are similar stimulus that you've experienced that we experienced in the US. And you're looking at equal issues to what it means to pivot in this timeline, to recover. And one of the things that is unique, isn't it, is this idea of what to do with employees. You know, here in the United States, we had this PPP plan, and some people had to decide, do I retain my employees? And because the work has gone away, and then just guess, like hope that 8-week period kind of fills the gap. But give me a sense from your point of view, from Europe, because our hope is, maybe Joel's and my hope is that you guys are somewhat in our future, like you're a few weeks ahead of us, and you're gonna give us some good news that we can convert to the US. So but like, what's the marketplace that you're seeing? Are you seeing a difference in the marketplace now of the types of jobs, how many jobs you can get, or the price of those jobs?
We didn't see, budget-wise, we didn't see anything change, to be honest. You know, we doing a big job with Disney now. This job just came as the COVID happened. So, and this job has just been growing and growing. So we didn't see any change on budget. The other jobs we've been quoting now is nothing being affected by, you know, the budgets. A lot is broadcast. What we're seeing more being affected is when we're talking about more commercial advertisement way, because the agencies being more affected than broadcasters. You know, TV still need to run. They still need to produce. And I think for us, well, I can say we're quite lucky because we work with animation. We not produce as much as live action, because I do believe we're gonna still have, as I said, it's gonna take a lot longer than we expect for the industry get back normal, and that, of course, that's gonna affect production in live action, and that they still need to produce, and that's gonna come back to animation. So I believe animation is gonna start producing a lot more. We've been seeing quite a lot requests lately, and we're about to close another 2 deals. So it's just been picking up quite really well, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel like we're just on the heels of your stuff. How about Marco? How about mainland Europe? Are you seeing any kind of pivot in the type of work, size of jobs, or I don't know, like?
What I can say from our clients is the size of the jobs and the budgets, they didn't change. It's just kind of the same. What changed is I have a few clients. They had like those. They had a big how is this, a big outdoor apparel company, which is kind of it's a low budget company. So they produce low budget products. In companies like that, they kind of they canceled all their marketing efforts. And then on the other hand, I have another client. They just closed during the crisis. They closed their biggest job with Globetrotter, which is a premium apparel company in Europe. So the experience I have made, or my clients made, is that the big companies, they still are willing to spend the money. The companies that are kind of tight on the revenue they make, they really struggle at the moment, and they postpone everything pretty much. So
let's see if we can kind of dive into that, because it feels like marketing, right? The thought of marketing, what marketing is, how much money I'm going to spend on it, or even the capability of some companies to continue to do marketing, right? Most of us, that's the services we provide. We come alongside agencies, or as an agency provide like marketing strategy terms or ideas. Are there any thoughts of like what the pivot might mean to somebody? We'll just say in the next 4 months, if you were to encourage someone and going after a target area or target client, where do you think the soft spot will be, the easy spot will be to kind of find clients and find those projects?
Well, there are always companies that thrive in situations like this. So another one of my clients, they just closed a big contract for a potato chips company, right? So that's obviously on demand at the moment, or in demand. So there are companies out there that make a lot of money in the moment. And what I suggest to my clients is just get out of your bubble, right? Just look into different markets, look for new clients, look for different industries. Just go out there, talk to people, and find something new. Because most of the people they are stuck in the automotive industry here in Germany or in the broadcast industry, and I mean it's a quite tight niche. So you want to get out, you want to find new opportunities, and you want to look for the companies that thrive in situations like this. So
I love that advice. I think that's actually really simple, but at the same time, there's an instinct, I think, right, when you go through a crisis and you want to shrink and you want to become very protective and you start thinking very short term, right? Tim, you call it the lizard brain, right?
Yeah, right.
Right. You shorten everything up. But I think it's a really interesting point you make, Marco, that in this time, maybe the smart companies are saying, sure, we need to go with what's secure, meaning reach out to our existing clients, people that we've worked in the past. Of course you do that because that's where you're most likely to get more work and projects and revenue. But it's also a time to say, obviously everyone is exploring new ideas and trying to figure out what this new normal is. So we should be reaching out to new verticals, new brands, new ways of working. But what do you encourage people who are like, okay, but where do I start? Where would you even tell them to go or what to do?
I mean, everyone is on Zoom these days and on all social medias. And I mean, if you just go to LinkedIn and look through your contacts and just reach out to people and with simple questions, how are you doing? How's business? People are open to talk at the moment. They're open to share their situations. They are vulnerable. They want to talk. They want to find a way out, right? So everyone has a lot of time at their hands. So and that's what I encourage my clients to do. Just get out there and look for conversations and just don't bring any advice. Don't try to pitch anything. Just go there and ask how they predict the future will be, and just ask them or just try to figure out with them how they can actually master the situation right now, right? And there will be a place for you if you do animation. There will be a place for you on how you can benefit this, how you can contribute.
And Tiago, what about you? Do you have an opinion on what Marco is suggesting? You know, what's your encouragement to people that are wondering, where do I start?
I think what Mark said, we've been seeing that happen on here at Cookie as well, because even it's like conversations I had with you before, Joe. You know, sometimes you contact clients and you know, the client doesn't do a lot of animation in the past, but we kept in touch with the client and trying to, you know, push, just keep the conversation going, and until, you know, something happened. And a lot of the clients sometimes nothing never happened. But lately we start seeing clients used to do, like, we've been working with another client, another agency now. We never had the opportunity. We spoke with them a few times, and they do a lot of fashion stuff. They do a lot of Instagram stuff, and because of the whole situation, they decide not to film anymore. It was quite difficult to get all the team together, you know, get the production rolling, and they start a conversation with us, and we start producing, like, they filming the product. We start doing all the products in 3D now for them, you know, and the cost doesn't change much with the cost they had for the production, because they need to have like 4, 5, 6 people on the production. So they start realizing, oh, I had a lot more control doing that in 3D and in animation, and also I'm spending the same money. So that made us to realize, you know, these old clients, we had conversation and we never had any job because they were more focused on live action. We start contacting more of these clients as well and try and help them understand what changed for them with the production from the live action to the animation. And that has been a really good conversation. So I think it's like what Mark's saying, you know, marketing, and Tim said as well, people still need to produce, you know, Instagram is still a lot of content, and people staying at home. more people gonna need to watch content. People spending more time on Instagram. So you need to have more content out there, or you just like people, just liking picture and doing nothing. It's a big opportunity for clients. So I think if we can reach the clients, talk to them and explain the situation, just trying to be a bit more expert, and what Marco said, not trying to engage and pitch, but trying to have a conversation and and just collaborate with people, I think is being really good for us.
Yeah, Tiago, I like what you're saying. I don't want to be like too Pollyanna. I don't know if you know what that means, but like too optimistic. Like there's nothing bad and it's only good. I don't want it to sound this way, but there is something when the economy changes, there is new opportunity.
Yeah.
And my strategic mind wants to kick in and say, well, wait a second, the rules are going to change and everybody's going to have to play by new rules. Wow, that might give me a competitive advantage where in a kind of a previous economy or previous situation, there were people setting that old standard, and it was hard to keep up with them or know what the difference is. But in a new economy, there's going to be new people rising to the top, and a strategic thinker could recognize those new needs, restructure a method or a tactic or idea or a purpose to their company, and actually take advantage of a new economy. And what's hard to judge right now is how disruptive that economy is currently. I still feel like we're a little infused with cash. You guys have received stimulus in Germany. You've received stimulus in the UK. We received stimulus in the United States. I know that the Australians have received stimulus. So we're running off of other people's money, and we haven't had to make a real decision yet. But I think like you're thinking, Tiago, is like there's going to be something new that we can do and something different we can do. And it's going to take, I don't know, people thinking outside the box or thinking of, what it used to be into something what the new ideas are going to be. Budget's part of it, but I think there's going to be creative technique, deliverables, expectations from clients, people showing up to the workplace. All of that's going to be something new, and we all get to take advantage of it.
There was a question here from Meg. Tim, you may have seen this, and those of you watching the chat, basically asking, you were saying, Meg, hey, production in the US seems to be changing, the line items, the roles, and the question you're asking is, is this going to be the new normal called we get paid for less? And I think my response to that is, having been through several financial crises in the past, I would say the answer is yes, but the answer is also no. It's actually both. It's just been my observation that there will be some sort of wow, do you remember back before 2020 when people used to spend outrageous amounts of money on that thing, and we don't do that anymore? However, there's usually something that emerges that is some sort of a new value that people pay dearly for. So I would be, in a way, prepared for both. I don't know if you, Marco or Tiago, does that spark a thought in you?
What is the new value you just talked
Well, I think
about? What do you think that is?
I think it's a little bit like what Tiago was referring to. Is just one example, and that is if people are more at home and they're less concentrated in urban areas, if they're on their screens and their devices more, well, that to me sounds like opportunity. The cheese is not going away, it's moving there. So now I start asking questions like, who needs that problem solved? And how does my genius and my positioning reach out and connect with those people in a way where, boom, something magical happens? But Tiago, what were you going to say?
Well, also, Joe, is like we're talking about getting paid less. I think it's like what Tim said. I think every bad situation is always opportunity, And I think one thing that we learn quite a lot. I'm that person who really like work with the team in the studio all the time. It's really hard for me to work with remote freelance because it takes more of creative time, takes more of production time, costs more. But what makes me understand as well, all right, maybe we get a smaller budget, but we have people around the globe with all different day rates, and that is opportunity for us to start exploring new talents. And it's still, all right, maybe that was a 50 grand budget and now it's 40 grand. Okay, I can't work with the guys in the studio because it's going to cost me a lot more with freelance UK, but I can get a guy in Thailand that's going to cost me 100, or in Argentina, and I can still make more profit than if I was just thinking with that closed mind to work with everyone in the studio. So I think it makes us to understand, you know, we need to evolve, we need to change, and we need to adapt, you know.
Yeah, and Tiago, you're totally nailing it. It's this idea that collaboration might be able to be different. And we'll just say, like, when the economy is good, people are very posh and they're very picky, right? Because they can choose between all this, you know, different choices.
Yeah.
With some new world order, they might not be as picky in the short run. And it gives you an opportunity to begin to collaborate, to work differently, try out different collaborations with outside people, different clients. And that new collaboration might set a different standard. And it's not, what we should be careful of it, it's not a worse standard. We're not going to get a lower quality of work or necessarily like commoditized cheaper work. It's just a new way of thinking that other people are willing to accept. So many of us have had ideas and we knew we could collaborate with other groups, but the workforce or the clients wouldn't necessarily accept it as easily. I think they might be more willing to accept it. That's what's exciting for me. And US-based companies collaborating with UK and Germany or mainland Europe companies, even Eastern Europe companies that we all know of, are all kind of an opportunity for that standard. I'm very excited about it. I know it's going to be difficult. And I know there's going to take some planning, some critical advice, some new thinking. A lot of the stuff that we're planning in the Revolve session, mastermind that we're building out, is to allow people to start thinking differently and creating those standards so they're not less creative, but it will work. You know, production standards, operation standards. And I think some of the, you know, the working at home issue, we kind of worked out the bugs a little bit. We were forced to. But if you were working out bugs and there was a fully operational competitor, it would be very hard for you to compete with a competitor. Now that competitor and you are on the same playing field, there's a new possibility there. I'm all very excited. How about this? New ideas.
Maybe I'm calling out the elephant in the room here, but I'll tell you one thing that's possible is maybe we as a community of owners and creative entrepreneurs can get together every day and talk like this.
Wow, what a great idea.
You know, and figure it out together.
Call it, Joel. Daily
briefings. I mean, last I checked, we've never done this right here before. So something's already changing that we as a community and as industry can figure this out together and make each other stronger. It's not this, you know, everyone slices up the pie and if you get a piece, I don't get a piece. No, we'll figure it out together. There's plenty of opportunity out there if we can together figure out what is this new normal, what is this new value. So I don't know. Again, that's very optimistic, and I don't mean to be insensitive, but does that answer the question for you, Marco, or am I just being too? Am I just seeing the bright side?
I love the way you see the bright side. I mean, that's, yeah, we have to get out of the situation at some point, and we have to go forward, and we need a little motivation to look elsewhere, not where we. Like the jobs we used to have, they're gone and they probably won't come back in the same way. And the quicker you adapt to the situation and look for new opportunities, so you, as you just said, the quicker you will get out of the situation. And it might be a totally different thing you're going to do in the future, but might be fun too.
Well, that's a great way to put a button on the end of our half hour, which went by, as usual, rather quickly. I should say that we are, just remind everyone, first of all, thank you, Marco, and thank you, Tiago, for being part of this conversation, but also remind everyone that we are going to transition this daily briefing into some other type of a format. And one of the transitions we've done is we're going to be inviting everyone part of this community to join us in a group we're calling Revolve, which is an accelerator that Tim and I are going to lead for 4 weeks, but we're going to be bringing in and having this community to answer this question: how do we move forward, and what is this new normal? So Tim, anything you want to share about that? Because I'm definitely excited, and I'm pleased to say a few people have already signed up, and it looks like it's going to be great.
First of all, I'm going to post the link real quick because I realized that we're calling it Remix last week.
Oh,
but
right.
we
Same
really
thing.
discovered this word revolve, and it's a much spicier and better understanding of a term. Here's the deal. Like, I know for certain that you're going to have to sustain yourself through May, right? But coming June, and I really believe for a good 4 months, we're going to have to restructure who we are as businessmen and women, the understanding of what the economy is going to be like, how to qualify clients, how to find new clients. All that's going to be somewhat new because we're all kind of starting from the very same spot, and they're going to begin the race together. So Joel and I are remixing and rethinking and revolving some of the ideas that we've had in our other mastermind and accelerators like Jumpstart, Show Launcher, and such. We're going to kind of combine those thoughts into something specific for this exact time. And then we're going to give you the principle so you can revolve once again in a few months and get launched well into 2021. So it is kind of those universal principles in a very specific time because there are some new funky ideas that are coming out and really a blending of some thoughts. And we want to help people rearrange their mental furniture to get past this next 4 months to 1 year.
Well, Tim, thanks for that. And I want to say thanks to Marco. Please give him a friendly shout out and a hello and a thank you, as well as Tiago. And gentlemen, please sign off and give us your best regards from the UK and from Germany.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, so good to see you guys. We miss
Yeah,
you. I
no,
can't
it's
wait
a
to see you
pleasure.
again face to face.
I know. And by the way, Tiago, reminder to send me some swag. This is a thank you to Phil at Too Fresh for this number that I'm sporting today. So hopefully I'll be sporting some cookie threads here in the near future.
I will send. Thank you, guys. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for being a part of the daily briefing. Until tomorrow, we'll see you then as we continue finishing up our final week here with our daily briefing. Until then, thanks, Tim.
All right. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye.